Hello, beloveds. I'm here today to share with you some underlying conjunctions that are happening in our solar system that maybe have not come to your attention because there is so much intensity happening at the moment. And this particular conjunction, which is a meeting of two planetary bodies, is something that is an underlying theme over around about a year. And those two planetary bodies are Eris and Chiron. And I will be speaking about them in different ways over the course of this video and the next video that I'm going to make for you. So Eris and Chiron are traveling over a year. They are at the points of 24 and 25 degrees of Aries. They both move very slowly. Their exact meetings have already happened in May this year. The next one is the 9th of October coming up, and then they will complete in March 2026. Now, the reason I'm making these videos now is that we're coming into Libra season. We've got the full moon in Aries, so Sun in Libra, Moon in Aries, and then the new moon in Libra opposing Aries, so that this conjunction, as well as coming to its second exact, is a strong focus in terms of who am I becoming, Aries, and how do I respond, how do I live my experience through relationships in a balanced, harmonious way. Now, these two planetary bodies are in orb for just over 1 year. And the overview really is uncovering a deeper truth of who I am as an individual through my reactions, my responses to disruption, to sudden change, to chaos, to events and experience beyond my control. And this is not just a theme personally, but Aries is a very personal sign, but also collectively, because these two planets are part of our evolutionary possibilities as we unfold in new collective experience and possibilities. So Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, is the sign of I am. It's the birth sign. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It's where everything that's been in the ocean of Pisces, the ocean of energy, the ocean of consciousness, takes form as I am. And in terms of our understanding of ourselves, it relates to our instinctual relationship to ourselves and our innate self-worth or lack of it. And then what I would do to protect that on every level, from ego through to authentic individuality, and how my natural instinctual self-protective capacity is developed, overdeveloped, or underdeveloped. And of course, we're all going to be on a different kind of ratio with that. So Aries is individuality at an ego level. It's about our instinctual growth and evolution. It's like if you think about a young child doesn't know it's in a growth process. Yeah, it's involved in it instinctually, i.e. it happens very naturally. And that is still part of our evolutionary journey now, even though we're adults. The evolution of our instinctual, self-protective defense mechanisms and so on, our authenticity and our authority as an individual is still evolving. So that includes our physical responses to threat, fight, flight, and so on, whether that is an actual threat, physical threat to life, or whether it's seen as a threat to my sense of self. And particularly these two energies, because they work very deeply and they're both about revealing a deeper truth and a deeper layers of healing. A lot of individuals are experiencing trauma in the body, so the release of that from the pre-verbal stages of our lives as children, but also it's appearing through disruption, in what we usually might take for granted. So our sleep, our health, our well-being, and so on. So many people are experiencing sleep disruption at the moment. And overall, you know, what this is pointing towards is how you deal with stress and its effects in the physical. Because our physical systems, like our immune response, our hormones and so on, are evolving along with our psychology and our consciousness. And, you know, many individuals may have, you know, experienced, particularly since the time of lockdown and so on, that this evolution in our physical systems is causing disruption in our usual health patterns. If we look at the sign of Aries, Aries is the sign of the warrior. Yeah, that's the archetype. And if you think about the warrior expresses through a range of extremes according to the levels of consciousness. So you have the higher consciousness level of a warrior could be said to be a Zen warrior. Yeah. It's like its responses and reactions are honed and come from stillness. Yeah, they come from a place of deep centeredness and are only used or expressed when necessary. And then, of course, the other range of extremes is rage or violent brute force. So anger and the suppression of anger, or the suppression of your vital life force, not even necessarily anger, but your vital get up and go, you know, that kind of Aries initiatory response of fullness to life. I remember a friend of mine actually years ago in New Zealand, and she was an Aries sun sign, saying that in the mornings when she woke up, she leapt out of bed, ready to face the new day, yeah, because she was so enthused by that possibility of a new day. And I thought, well, that's strange because I'm not that kind of a person in the mornings. We're all different. But it showed me that Aries instinctual response to new possibility. So trust your instincts, trust the process is what this natural evolutionary process that comes from Chiron and Eris together is about, because we can't pre-plan it. Yeah, we can't kind of know how we're going to react to a change or a disruption in our internal world or our external world. So this is about watching, noticing, awareness, growing awareness in terms of how I react, why I react, and what is the more centered response? What is that showing me about my individuality, and where I may still feel and be wounded? Chiron, the wounded healer, was both wounded and a mentor, a teacher, a wise one. Eris, the disruptor, she's the protagonist, she's the catalyst, she's the one who is in this quest for the deeper truth of what's actually happening, what's really happening. So in this video, what I'm going to read you are the oracle points from this book, 360 Degrees of Your Star Destiny, a Zodiac Oracle by Elias Lonsdale. And what Elias Lonsdale did was channel messages, images and messages for each degree of the Zodiac. And they're very symbolic, but also incredibly telling about the process, particularly when a planet or two planetary bodies are sitting on degrees for any length of time. They provide a pointer, a direction to the underlying meanings of those degrees. And Chiron and Eris are on both 24 and 25 degrees through this process. So I'm going to read both. And as I read them, you will probably be able to link them and recognize the symbology for where you're at in your life, but where we're at collectively. Because when I read them, it was like, wow, that's incredible. I need to share this. So the first degree I'm going to read is Aries 25, and we always read the degree beyond the degree of the conjunction. So you read Aries 25 for Aries 24. And the symbol is a great dragon asleep in a cave. The dark, deep inside seeking to emerge from a spell, from an enchantment, from a curse. The shadows, the beast, the serpent, the dragon of legend and myth, stirring restlessly, pervasively, bringing forth longings and desires previously suppressed and denied. Secrets and mysteries, realms within realms, so much to get back in touch with now. A promise to the children of the future to come alive at the appointed times. The urgency of karma and destiny. What cannot be understood will not conform to convention. A wildness, a raw primal quality of needing an immense outlet for a huge energy that never had a place here, i.e. what's been denied. A desperate drive to let these things emerge, or else feel trapped and stuffed and caught in meaningless retrials of self-avoidance at all cost. An emotional energy of ferocious intensity, so deep, so forbidden, so strange to the modern ways, called to merge, to tap the depths and not wait, but instead to activate the dormant powers for the sake of the whole. An absolutely extraordinary ability to draw forth what is hidden in each and all, a threshold capacity to elicit confidence and strength and new forces in those who are seeking a further unfoldment beyond the known. The world's most fertile energy frequency, yet often postponed, shamed, held in reserve, captured by past and futures at war with one another. The shadow must be honoured if the light is to dawn. All of this is known and sensed with overwhelming force. It will come out. It will come through. So for me, that relates to the shadow energies of this conjunction that's happening with Chiron and Eris, and the fact that the great dragon inside of us is asleep in a cave and will be woken by disruption. Then Aries 26, this is the kind of antidote, this is the outcome potentially. The man in the moon smiling. I see everything stretched around me in all directions to the farthest horizon and beyond. I come from everywhere. I feel part of just about everything I meet. It's a state I can never describe. How could I invoke the power of being at one with myself and at one with all the world, where both are the same, I and the world? What I enjoy most about my dazzling vista is that I can see everything in its true perspective because I've transmuted or am transmuting the shadow. Gives us that clarity. I'm given to sense what is real and to be able to be at home in on it anywhere. And I know what is trying to impress me. It isn't really there. This is what I live for. I need to be directly on the beam with what is happening, what it means, where it's going. Only this can give me the true coordinates. Once I have these, I can do anything that spirit intends. It is vital that I spread an energy and awareness wherever I go. I'm saying to all of us that we can, that the doors are open, that anything is possible if you really intend it with your whole being. I am that message and its ripples. Because I'm always expanding, never the same twice, I can turn my outer presence into one big forwarding style that's easy to be with and still retain a ton of freedom on the inside. Nothing catches me for long. My being knows only leaps and bounds. The very best thing about me is that I can let the love and light stream through me effortlessly. I am such a good vehicle for greater purposes. My outer demeanor always remains energetically just that smile, that look, that suggestive edge. Join me in my expanding universe. Be a part of the mystery and the magic. If you wish to play and love and live in that future fertile frequency, I am completely with you. So those two symbolic descriptions of the degrees of the Chiron Eris conjunction are food for reflection in terms of how we meet the shadow, how we allow our light to express. And if you think about the sign of Aries, think about a toddler. Yeah, there's the age of Aries. A toddler is freely expressive until it learns or until it's conditioned. And there is something about that conditioning that we need to go beyond. Yeah, we need to be freer in our self-expression. This is what this conjunction is speaking to us. That nothing is wrong. Yeah, that when we allow ourselves free rein, we will naturally come to a perfect balance where light and love are streaming through us, as that second degree spoke about. So I do hope that this is inspiring and useful to you, supportive to you in terms of your journey at these times. And know that, you know, if you look back to May this year, you may get an inkling of where this was playing out in you and in your life. We're coming to the next meeting now on October the 9th, and actually the whole of October is about this. And then the culmination, which is when two planets meet in this way more than once, it's like we get a kind of 3 episodes. We get a forward and the awareness about where is this playing in my life. Then we get a second installment where we have the opportunity to see what can I do differently and to experiment with that. And then the third conjunction is where we can recognize the integration that's been happening over that year-long process. Thank you so much for engaging and watching this video. I wish you well in your journey.